Understand now, my people, it's your guy, Kunle, aka the Nigerian Englishman.
And it's your boy, Kanedi, aka Kanedinho, aka Mr. Go Ball, Go Ball,
Go Ball! And welcome to another episode of Round on the Ground. Obviously, you know it's World Cup season, World Cup mode. Everyone is feeling international right now. Lionel Messi inspired Argentina to a 2-1 victory against Australia. It's his final World Cup. Could it happen? Could it be? Could the GOAT crown his legacy with a World Cup win? I don't know.
And it is the end of Ghana jollof rice in Qatar World Cup. Ghana lost 2-0 to Uruguay. Andrew Ayew had a chance to take them to the next level, but he blew it. The Uruguayans took advantage, but unfortunately for them, South Korea went through.
The Germans are coming. The Germans are coming. Oh, the Germans, they go home. Oh. 2 World Cups in a row. They've not passed the group stages. They won one and not even passed the group stages in the next 2. What's going on with German football? Do they need to be revamped?
Cameroon have made history. They are the first African side to beat Brazil in the World Cup group stage, beating them 1-0. A very good goal from Vincent Abubakar. Well, it wasn't enough to get them to the next round, but still, they made their mark. They made history by beating the 5-time champions for the first time ever in the group stage.
And situations like what we saw with Abubakar Kanebi, don't you think they should maybe review that rule about when you take off your shirt in celebrations? Because he got red carded for something that obviously the emotions were high. Beating Brazil, scoring against them. It was a great and final minutes of the game. Don't you think they should review that deal, that rule?
Well, there are lots of rules they need to review when it comes to football nowadays because they're taking out the passion in the game. That's just the way I see it.
That's true. Defending champions. I know you might think I'm a France fan because I'm wearing this, but there's a reason for this theme. We believe this is going to be the World Cup final. And this France 98 was my favorite World Cup to date. But the defending champions, yet again, another convincing victory, 3-1 against Poland. And the man, the myth, who's soon becoming a legend, Kylian Mbappe. He took our breath again. I mean, let's take some time to talk about this kid, Kanebi. Like, he's not even 25 yet. He's already got 1 World Cup in the bag. He's on a ridiculous contract. He's playing with some of the best players in the world, like the Neymars, the Messis, etc. He's on track potentially to not only win a golden boot at a World Cup, but also win his 2nd World Cup. You know the question I'm going to ask you. Can Mbappe be the next Pele?
He's on his way. He's on his way. He already started in the last World Cup by being the first under 18 since Pele to score in the World Cup final. He has outscored Pele. He has scored 9 goals in the World Cup. He has outscored Maradona. He might even score Ronaldo da Lima and Miroslav Klose. We don't even know that. Maybe. But he's really on his way truly to glory and to immortality as a football god. And Kylian Mbappe is still young. That is the scary part about it. And he is playing like he's at the peak of his powers. He can only get better.
The crazy thing about the kid is that it's like there's nothing he can't do right now. Dribble, left foot, right foot. I mean, let's talk about both the finishes yesterday. You told me they were scary to watch. I mean, the first one, he picked his spot, drilled it in the corner. The second part, he picked his spot, drilled it in the other corner. I mean, he's scoring for fun right now. Yeah,
that's a boy that believes in his abilities. And when you are at that point in your career where you feel you're unstoppable, you feel nothing can faze you, he's at that point in his career where he feels he's physically right, he's mentally right, and the ball just keeps going in the back of the net. And for me, Giroud might have been the top goal scorer for France for all time, but Kylian Mbappe is coming. And Kylian Mbappe might be probably one of the greatest players we've ever seen in our generation.
Okay, you talked about mentality there, and that's something that's been over the past few months in general, especially since that whole situation with his contract, Real Madrid in the summer. You remember that situation where people called in line his mentality. Is his ego too big for him to be able to achieve the heights of the Pelés or even the Messis and Ronaldos, or is it the type of ego you need to be the best?
Every great artist, every great player, every great man, every great leader has an ego. Ego and greatness, they come hand in hand. You cannot be great and not have an ego or not be proud about yourself. Messi has an ego. You don't just see it. He shows his ego in a different way. I mean, come on, man. Messi picks the coaches for Barcelona back in the day. He picked the coaches for Argentina too. He even bounced this boy, what's his name, Icardi, from the team.
So
Messi has his own ego.
He uses ego for different areas.
Everybody has their own way. There's no great artist, no great man, no great leader without an ego. And it's just another quality of a great man. That's the way I see it. The most important thing is not putting yourself above your teammates or not putting yourself above the club. Because at the end of the day, you're not bigger than the club, you're not bigger than your teammates.
Regardless of your ego,
regardless
right?
of your ego.
Talent. But we can't finish the France matter without talking about Olivier Giroud. I mean, there's too many things I can say about this guy. His CV speaks for itself. If you look at his top 10 best goals ever, it's probably some of the most spectacular goals, and he's now the leading France scorer of all time, surpassing Thierry Henry's record. Do you think Giroud's career deserves more credit than people like to give him?
Well, Giroud, the thing about Giroud is not your flamboyant striker. He's not a striker that's going to beat one or two and score a great goal. Yes, he has scored great goals, but Giroud is your old school striker, your traditional striker, the striker that likes to hold up play, link players, goes for crosses. So he wouldn't really be glorified like the Thierry Henrys and the Anelkas who could take the ball, run with the ball, do whatever, beat a man. Nah, but as far as consistency is concerned, he has been consistent. He has delivered for Arsenal, he has delivered for Chelsea, he has delivered for AC Milan, and he has delivered for the French national team. And he has also delivered for Montpellier. People forget that Giroud has won a League One title with Montpellier before he moved to Arsenal. And what can I say? He has a fantastic CV.
And you know exactly what you can expect from a player like Giroud. Big up, Olivier.
The African champions were knocked out yesterday by the English, 3-0. For me, the goals all came against the run of play. Senegal put in a very good effort, but I felt tactically and defensive-wise, they were very poor. They lacked a lot of bites up front. I think they missed Sadio Mane. But the English, they ran out of, the performance wasn't really good, but the scoreline will tell you a different story. For me, Jude Bellingham is the man of the hour for England. He took that game by the scruff of the neck. He took England forward. He created the goals for Harry Kane. He created a goal for Jordan Henderson. And of course, he made Saka much more effective with those deep runs. And I'm not going to lie, England had a very impressive victory, but the performance was okay. But for me, the standout player was Jude Bellingham.
Is this 19-year-old kid the real deal? Is he the next big thing in football? Is he the next 100 million player?
He's 150, not 100 million.
You think he's worth that amount of money?
Well, according to Borussia Dortmund, he's worth 150 million. So anybody who's going to sign Jude Bellingham this summer better have 150 million pounds.
Look, I'm one that says that as long as you're good enough, you're old enough at the end of the day. But the guy's had an exceptional performance against the African Nations champions, but 150 million at 19, isn't that too much to put on the kid? Has he really done enough? He's not even won a trophy in his career yet, and he's already worth 150 million?
Well, in today's market, ever since Paul Pogba went to Manchester United for 100 million and Neymar went to PSG, this is the current climate of the transfer window. And for me, Dortmund, they are always going to price their players at that price, regardless. Once you have a young player in Dortmund who is coming up, who has a reputation for himself, he's going to hit the 100 million mark.
Okay, so if we're talking about 100 million players, then if we're talking Jude Bellingham, Arsenal's Bukayo Saka has to be in that same bracket.
Of course, he's in that same bracket.
Because
he is in that
what
same
he's
bracket.
doing on a week-to-week basis at his Premier League club and internationally, with all the pressure that he's come across in his career, he has to be that 150 million plus player.
Of course he is. Of course he is. Right now, football right now, once you're a young player, you're good, you have a mad potential ahead of you, it's 100 million.
Three World Cup goals so far as well?
Yeah.
After missing the penalty.
He's got a very nice chip against Mendy.
Very cheeky.
He's always scoring Mendy. Every time. I don't know why.
very
Him and
true.
Mendy have a very good relationship going on.
But rounding up about that game yesterday, do you think it was a question of it was just individual brilliance from England that pulled through, or was it naivety by Senegal and the missing of Sadio Mane?
I think it was a bit of both, because if you look at the Senegalese yesterday, the first 20 minutes they had...
Even 30 minutes.
First 30 minutes they were in control of the game. They seemed very stable. They seemed organized. They seemed like they had a bit of bite about them. But against the run of play, Jude Bellingham makes a run through the midfield. So does Henderson. And Henderson, who was brought in there for defensive duties, is the one who's the furthermost up the pitch. And he gets the goal. The second goal comes in, same pattern. The third goal, oh my God. The third goal was just... It killed off the game. I felt after the second goal, the Senegalese felt that the game was over, and he just gave up. And they capitulated after that. And England took full advantage. And you have to give a lot of respect to Jude Bellingham. He made that midfield tick. He stood up. He made Harry Kane even score. He set up a nice goal. Was he the one who set up? Was Luke Shaw actually?
And was it Luke Shaw or Foden? No, Foden.
Foden, but they had a very good interchange.
Interchanging, 100%.
Yeah, so it was a very good move. But for me, I think if they come up against the French, they have to be way better than what they did against Senegal.
100%. But about that game in general, I believe I've been very harsh on Gareth Southgate in the past, and when I even saw the lineup, I thought it was wrong. I believe he made the wrong decisions, but when you watch things like what we saw yesterday, 3-0 against Senegal, sometimes you just feel as a pundit, as a fan, you just need to understand there's a reason why they're managing a team and you're just a pundit. And sometimes these coaches just show us the reality. And do I think England can win this? No. But do I think Gareth Southgate got things right? 100%. And unfortunately for Senegal, they just came up with a more organised team that took their chances, but they can take a lot of pride for how they've done in this competition without Sadio Mane, I believe.
Yeah, they'll be back again in 4 years' time. World Cup is about to reach its climax. It's just getting better, getting more exciting. We have 2 crazy games today. We have Croatia versus Japan, and we have the Koreans versus the Brazilians. The Asians, they have been very, very good in this tournament. The Asian teams, they have really stood out like the Africans. And although Korea, some will say Korea were very lucky to qualify, but still, they're in the round of 16. It doesn't matter how you get there, you're there. And the Japanese, oh my God. The Japanese, since 1998, Japan has appeared. Yeah, since 1998, Japan has appeared in every World Cup.
For real?
Since 1998, they've appeared in every World Cup. And that shows you that they have experience now. Whoever thought they will finish top of their group? In a group with Spain
and Germany.
And in Germany. So what are we talking about?
Look,
Japan should be feared.
100% they should be fair. Like, and the funniest thing of this World Cup with Japan is the one team they lost to was Costa Rica. So this shows you that they're the guys for the big occasion.
Yeah.
Raising their game for the bigger team. And one thing I've noticed about these Asian teams is there might not be a specific standout star that everyone raves about, even though you have like the Son because he is at Tottenham. But
Son is not in Japan.
No, I mean, I'm talking about Asian players in
Yeah,
general.
okay.
But like, what they do have is a well-organized team. They know their strengths and they work to those strengths. And Japan have done that.
And they have some players who are in, and most of their players play in Europe.
Yeah.
They have a lot of players in the Bundesliga. They have players in La Liga. They have players in the French League. They have players in the Premiership. So what we are looking at now is a team that is exposed. They have the experience. And they are coming into this tournament to go as far as they can.
For me, I believe they have the best chance. Not only because they finished top of their group and the teams that they've beaten. I believe they're much better than this Croatian side, personally. I think the Croatian side are coming to the end of that golden generation. They're dwindling down.
That's very tough to say because you forget that this Croatian team were the finalists of the last World Cup.
4 years ago, bro. And how old were their players 4 years ago,
But you have to look at Croatia. Did they finish top of their group?
No.
If there's going to be an upset in this game, well, I won't be surprised because the Japanese have been very, very good. And for me, you can never tell with the Japanese. They're very quick. They have players.
Wait. It's not an upset, can it be? If Japan beat Croatia, it's not an upset.
It's an upset because you have to look at Croatia's record in the World Cup and you have to look at the caliber of players they have. They were finalists in the last World Cup, and they have players who have won the Champions League who play in Europe. They have Modric, they have Kovacic, they have Kamaric, they have who else again is there? They have players.
Perisic, all the itches. They have so many itches on them.
It will be a very big upset. Croatia is a strong European football nation.
They have. I would agree. If we're talking about football legacy and history, Croatia definitely have more football legacy than Japan. But I don't believe anyone, users, let us know. Let us know in the comment section. Do you look at the tie between Japan and Croatia as a big versus small? Or I think they're people fighting in the same weight class at the end of the day, in my opinion.
I don't think so. Because if you look at Croatia's midfield, it's world class. They have a world-class midfield. You have Brozovic, Modric, and Kovacic. That's a world-class midfield. Japan don't have that.
You can itch all the way you want,
Japan
my
don't
guy.
have that.
That's not that midfield that Japan have dominated Germany, dominated Spain, and finished top of their group. So for me, no be upsets. Now fair game. But obviously I know and I can tell by the shirt you are wearing where your loyalties lie today. So career players play Brazil. We've just had the sad news that Gabriel Jesus is headed home to London to recuperate for the rest of the Premier League season. But do you think that's a major blow for a team spoilt for choice for so many attack options?
I don't think it's a major blow. I think it's just we're at the knockout stage. So in the knockout stage, I think there's going to be like at least 8 players who would not rotate in the team when you're in the knockout stages. So I don't think it's a major blow. I just think it just gives you less options on the bench. But knowing Brazil, we still have Martinelli, we still have Rodrigo, we still have some players that...
And guess who's back?
Neymar is back. Neymar is fit, which is very, very important for me because I thought Brazil lacked a lot of creativity in the midfield. With Fred, you can't have that. You can't have that with Fred, Casemiro, and who was the other guy? Lucas Paqueta. You can't have that. But with Neymar, you have a player who can create magic out of nothing and a player with a reputation who has played in a World Cup before. For me, Neymar is very, very important for Brazil in terms of giving them that motivational uplift. The
news of him coming back.
Yeah, the news of him coming is going to lift the team, and it makes them more dangerous.
Sure.
You always need a Neymar on your side,
and just to add to that, I kind of think, I don't know if you correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Neymar needs this as part of his legacy because of people kind of say the Champions League he got was kind of Messi's Champions League. Even though he still played, he scored in the final, but he went to PSG to kind of win it on his own, but that hasn't kind of worked out. Messi now came to help him out over there. And now at Brazil, he's been injured at the business end of the last couple of World Cups he's been involved in. And do you not believe he needs this for his legacy? I
think Neymar needs it for his legacy, but I think Brazil needed more than Neymar because Brazil have not won a World Cup since 2000. They haven't won the World Cup for 30 years.
Is that how you just be winning World Cups?
Brazil.
Not 30 years now. They won in 20 years.
It's Korea, Japan. It's a long time. Korea, Japan, 2002. It's 30.
20. Are we in 2032?
Well, it seems like a lot. It seems like a long time.
Brazilian fans, you are spoiled too.
It seems like a long time, but every time Brazil goes to the World Cup, they are expected to win the World Cup, especially with this kind of team Brazil is taking. But at the end of the day, Brazil cannot underestimate Korea, because Korea still made it to the round of 16. They are there for a reason. But this is knockout football. You can't rest on your laurels. So Brazil have to go in there, dominate the game, score the goals, and try and kill the game in the first half. Because we've had very slow starts to the first half.
I can't see anything but a Brazilian victory. Let's get some predictions before we wrap up the show. So I'm going to go for the South Korea-Brazil game. I'm going to go 3-1 Brazil. What you said?
I'm going 3-1 too.
3-1. Okay, so for the Japan versus Croatia, I'm going 2-1 Japan.
I'm going 3-1 Croatia.
Can you just imagine? Check in the comment section, let us know your predictions and we'll see who's right at the end of this week, I guess. Okay guys, unfortunately, even though it is World Cup fever right now, there's a player who works hand in hand with the World Cup, Pele. 3-time winner, the youngest person to win it at 17 years old. He didn't just win it at being part of the team, he helped the team win. And unfortunately, his health isn't the best right now, so we send all the love and best wishes to him and his family. Oh yeah, now my people, there you have it. It's your boy Kunle, aka the Nigerian Englishman.
And your boy Kanebi, aka Mr. Go Ball, Go Ball, Go Ball.
And there's another episode of Round on the Ground. Enjoy the World Cup. See you next week. Feel the heat.